Okay, so today we're going to be looking at a real world problem in terms of geometry. And so they say the side lengths of two triangles are shown. Represent the perimeter of each triangle with an expression in simplest form. Which triangle has a greater perimeter if x equals 3? Will this be true if x equals 2? And we need to justify our response. All right, so the first thing that we need is to represent the perimeter of each triangle with an expression in simplest form. So remember that when we're talking about the perimeter, we're simply talking about the distance around, like the edges, is what we're looking at. So we're adding all of that together. So our perimeter of, let's say, triangle one, let's separate that. So triangle one, the perimeter is going to be 10 plus 4x plus 3 times 4x minus 5. All right, so what we need to do is simplify that. So we're going to combine like terms. But before we do that, remember PEMDAS, right? So we need to start off with our parentheses. Um, there is an operation within the parentheses. However, we cannot combine them because they are not like terms. So the next thing we're going to do is use the distributive property for us to distribute the 3 to each of the quantities within the parentheses. So what we end up with now is going to be P is equal to 10 plus 4x plus 3 times 4x, which is 12x's. We've got 12x. That's a positive. That's a positive. So this should be a positive in front of it. And then we have 3 and 5. That gives me 15. The 3 is positive. The 5 is negative, which means that it's going to be minus 15. All right. So we have that all set. Now what we need to do is combine like terms. So we see, remember those bins, we see that we have x's. So I'm going to combine those. And if I just did that bin system over here, right, we have our x's and we have our constants. So the 10 is going to go into the constant. That's a positive. The 4x, let me take this off of here. 4x's is going inside of the x bin. That's a positive. 12x also goes into the x bin, and then negative 15 goes into the constant bin. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is just um, rearrange the order using the commutative property. So I'm going to say P is equal to 4x plus 12x plus 10 minus 15. So all we did is just rearranged it, right? And now we can go on and simplify what we have. We have 4 plus 12. That gives me 16 x's. And then we have over here 10 and negative 5. So a positive 10 and a negative 5. We're going in different directions. So remember, if you're going in different directions, you use subtraction, right? So 15 minus 10, that gives me 5. And then we look at the number. That's the largest. The 15 is larger. And we're going to assign the sign that we have for the larger number. So that's minus 5. So what we end up with is 16x minus 5. This is a simplified version, okay? And then I'm going to go and simplify triangle 2 first, and then we'll go and figure out about um, which one is greater or least. All right, so the perimeter of triangle 2 is going to be 11 plus 5x plus 3 times negative 2x plus 9. All right. So what we have, I'm going to simplify that again using the distributive property. Okay, so now our perimeter is equal to 11 plus 5x. And then we have 3 and 2. That gives me 6. I have a positive and a negative. That means this is negative 6x. And then I have 3 and 9. That's 27. And I have a positive and a positive, which means this is going to be plus 27. All right, when we talk about our bin system or rearranging, let's see what we have. We have constants and we have x's. All right, so we have a positive 11, we have a positive 5x, we have a negative 6x, and we have a positive 27. All right, so now I'm going to rearrange that. So P is equal to 11 plus 27 plus 5x minus 6x. All right, and now let's simplify that. So 11 plus 27 gives me 38. And then if we simplify over here, we have 5 minus 6. So we're going in different directions. So we're going to use subtraction. In other words, that would be 6 minus 5. That's 1, right? And remember, if it's 1 and only 1, we don't need to put a number in front of our variable. So I'm just going to put x, right? Because we know that it's 1x. And which number was larger? It's the 6. And what type of sign do we have? It's a negative. So what we have is 38 minus x. All right, so let's go and look and see now. We've figured out the simplified forms of expression, excuse me, of triangle 1 and triangle 2. Now we want to figure out which one is going to have a greater perimeter if x is equal to 3 and if x is equal to 2. All right, so to figure that out, let's get one more sheet of paper. All right, so what we're going to do is talk about triangle 1 and triangle 2. So let's see what we have. Triangle 1, triangle 2. All right, and our expression for triangle 1 is going to be 16x minus 5. This is our simplified expression. And the expression for triangle 2 is going to be 38 minus x. So our simplified version is 38 minus x. All right, so what are they asking? They're saying if if x is equal to 3, which triangle has the greatest perimeter? So let's substitute in 3. So we're going to say 16 times 3 minus 5. And that is going to give me 16 times 3 is 48. So that's 48 minus 5. And that means this is going to be 43. Okay, so triangle A has a perimeter of 43 when x is equal to 3. Okay, triangle 2, let's see, 38. We're going to rewrite that. 38 minus x. X is going to be 3. So what we have is 38 minus 3. That gives me 35. Okay, so when x is equal to 3, so x is 3. X is 3. Our largest perimeter is going to be for triangle A. All right. They also want to know, is that going to be true if x is equal to 2? So let's see what happens then. So if we have, let's say x is equal to 2, we'll put that here so we know what we're doing. All right, so now we're going to say 16 times x, which is going to be 2. And we're going to subtract 5. And then here you're going to have 38 minus 2. Okay. And so what we get is 16 times 2, that's 32 minus 5. All right, so 32 minus 5 gives me 27. Okay. And then over here we have 38 minus 2. Oh, why did I rewrite that? I don't know. 38 minus 2 gives me 36. So is that true when x is equal to 2? That is not correct, right? So if x is equal to 2, then triangle 2 has a larger perimeter. All right.